Hello everyone, and welcome to Hyperanalyzing LCS, the series where I discuss the biggest moments from the LCS and give attention to the tiniest details that can decide the outcome of a game. This week I will look at some plays from Week 4 of the 2022 LCS Summer Split. Team Liquid won a big fight against the Golden Guardians just 8 minutes into this game.
And that means Team Liquid's at a 1,000 gold advantage as the Golden Guardians looking to move bodies up through the river, but Santorin's looking to move them into the ground. There's the flash from Ole.
Yeah, well, gonna get it out now. Bjergsen here.
Oh,
a little bit awkward.
Stalker's going in. Santorin has no ulti to be able to get out of this one, but a nice shockwave means the Golden Guardians are just getting eviscerated. Ablaze Olive is stuck in the pit. The only question is who's getting the money, and the bear is right there.
As the first Rift Herald spawns, Santorin and Ole find each other in the river, and Santorin starts charging towards the enemy support. Ole flashes away, which is a big mistake since Golden Guardians have the positioning advantage right now. Ole could have polymorphed Santorin to stop his engage, and GG would have had a temporary 4v2 with Licorice on the flank. However, lacking vision in the enemy jungle, GG does not know that Hansama and CoreJJ are still a few seconds away from joining the fight, and Stixxay is back in base, which explains Ole's defensive flash. The flash buys enough time for Hansama and CoreJJ to arrive before the fight starts. Pridestalker engages onto Santorin, and Ablaze Olive tries to split the fight with Weaver's wall, but Santorin is able to flash over it, and instead the wall just separates the two teams. With the Guardians committing to the engage on Santorin, they end up being stacked together in the river, and Bjergsen takes advantage of this to land a 3-man shockwave, keeping the GG players stuck in Bwipo's cannon barrage as well. Additionally, Hansama is able to fire the Culling into the group of enemies, while TL's own cluster of players keep Hansama safe from Licorice's glacial prison, which stuns CoreJJ instead. At this point, Team Liquid now have the numbers advantage, and it is now their top laner on the flank. Shockwave, Cannon Barrage, and the Culling have brought the whole Golden Guardian squad to low health, and Bwipo cuts off their escape with a big barrel chain onto 2 and a trial by fire auto attack to finish off Ole. TL gets 3 kills almost simultaneously, and Ablaze Olive flashes away into a dead end, giving Team Liquid a 4th kill and a huge early game lead. Immortals finished off an upset victory over Cloud9 with this teamfight.
Blabber's making his way over. Power of Evil defensive package to get himself back to safety. Baron's down to 4,000, 3,000. Who's going to end up taking Blabber? Stolen away by Blabber. Fudge on the front line. He's going to be in some trouble. He's going to be dead instantly. Can be going in with the stolen Gragas body, looking for a little bit more. The Zerker fires off the ulti, but he ain't going to get much, except a nice golden tombstone. Revenge looks for more. Blabber's stunned up into the wall, and IMT might just win it here.
Immortals tries to rush down the Baron, with Blabber being forced away, needing to heal. However, Blabber is able to get back to the Baron pit before Immortals finish off the Baron. As Blabber jumps into the Baron pit, Kenvi has a terrible smite that only brings the Baron down to 909 HP. Blabber, on the other hand, hits a perfect smite just as Baron drops below the 900 HP threshold, getting the Baron steal, and he is able to hop back over the wall to get back to safety. However, Ignore makes a great engage in the river, landing Dredgeline onto Fudge, pulling himself close enough to cast Depth Charge on Berserker. Power of Evil and Kenvi quickly kill Fudge, while Berserker has to back away due to the Nautilus ultimate. Kenvi possesses the Gragas and lands a Body Slam flash combo on Berserker, doing a lot of damage to the enemy AD carry and forcing him to flash away. Berserker takes a different escape route from the rest of his team, leaving him close to the IMT team, and Lost uses Fate's Call to send Ignore over the wall to re-engage onto Berserker, and Power of Evil Valkyries over the wall as well, securing the kill. Revenge is able to get the double hop off of Blabber, and as he turns into Meganar, he throws Blabber against the wall, which just barely keeps Kenvi alive as IMT picks up a 3rd kill. With the player advantage, Immortals push into the Cloud9 base and win the game. 100 Thieves outplayed CLG to win big in this teamfight.
What are you going to look like? Eye available yet again. Will not quite put in smite range, but close to. As they get it lower and lower. Not going to let it happen. It might just leash. Here comes the play again. And a couple of knockouts come through for Brahma. Fight for help. And Boom's going to stay alive for a second. A stun to the wall. Who he comes right back in to save his back line. And Contracts gets nothing done. Pop the Eye. Who he low. The rocket fires. Zero can't find the kill. Boom. Tries to get away, but no. It's going to be another one coming through for FBI. It's 3-0 so far, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. In he goes. The flash follow. Bit of damage. Jokla gets a single kill into his life for it. And now left alone is Palafox. Cannot trade one back. An ace for 100 Thieves win the team fight.
Both teams set up over the second Rift Herald, and the fight starts as Huhi flashes forward, but gets immediately stopped by Poom's Dredgeline. Abidaga flashes forward as well, landing the stolen Depth Charge onto Luger. Poom has a great Depth Charge himself, knocking up 3 and cancelling the windup of Closer's Keeper's Verdict. Contracts dives forward with the Vi ult onto Abidaga, but with FBI firing freely, 100 Thieves take down Contracts for the first kill. While Dokla keeps Someday busy in the top lane, this fight revolves around the power difference of the two AD carries. After getting the first kill, FBI uses Spark Surge deep into the enemy jungle and is able to take down Poom in a 1v2. Meanwhile, Luger's Super Mega Death Rocket gets blocked by Closer, which stops him from finding an easy way to activate the Jinx passive. Luger tries hard to proc Get Excited, but he ends up chasing Huhi too far down the river, and Closer and Abidaga are able to converge onto him and take him down. Palafox uses Emperor's Divide to shove FBI back towards the river, where Dokla now joins the fight. With the low 100 Thieves health bars, there is a chance for Dokla to clean up a few kills here, but Dokla's attempted assassination onto FBI gets halted by Closer with Steadfast Presence. This greatly delays Dokla's damage, and he is forced to flash and trade his own life for only one kill. This leaves Palafox in a 1v4, and 100 Thieves chase him down for the ace. Danny led the Evil Geniuses to another teamfight win in the Northern River against Team Liquid.
Dare Team Liquid to come and stop them. Remember that Whippo's ulti does not share the same low cooldown, so World Ender is not going to be ready. Santorin having no ult here either. More difficult for him to get into the fight. No culling for Hans.
3,000.
All right, Santorin. They're looking to maybe find Jojo, but Santorin's in a bad spot. He may just die here, but he barely survives. Danny goes unstoppable, but impacted about 200 HP. The follow goes in. Jojo goes down. Evil Geniuses may just collapse, but Danny is ready to fight back. Inspired, buying himself a soul. Oh! Some time. NEG continue winning fight.
Evil Geniuses start the Baron, and as Team Liquid approach, EG looks to turn for the fight, with Jojopyun sending Glacial Path into the TL backline. Santorin flashes for a stun, preventing Jojopyun from finding a big engage. However, Santorin gets the worst end of this trade, dropping to just a sliver of health and being looted by Final Chapter. Inspired takes a big chunk of damage as well, but he is able to use Heartbreaker to avoid the knockup from Core JJ's tidal wave and get away. Bjergsen turns the fight in TL's favor with a huge double bomb stun onto 3, although Danny does cast Arcane Shift as the stun hits him, putting himself in a position to finish off Santorin with a final auto attack. Interestingly, Bjergsen does not use Chrono Shift to revive Santorin, but I do think that is a defensible decision since a Volibear without Flash or ult is not going to do much more in this fight, and it would also put Bjergsen low on mana, so he wouldn't be doing much more either. Bjergsen is able to get another stun onto Jojopyun as Hansama and Whippo charge forward to finish the kill. At this point, the fight looks good for Team Liquid, but they have a really unusual problem as Danny, with Vulcan's Yumi, is a big enough threat that he can run straight through the middle of the TL team and essentially divide this fight into two sides. Danny is actually focused on the Whippo Hansama side of the fight the whole time, except for one Mystic Shot to keep Bjergsen at bay. As Danny rounds this corner of the wall, he has to step towards Bjergsen and Core JJ. With Whippo and Hansama focused on taking down the rest of EG, Bjergsen and Core JJ have to respect that this is a 2v2 that they do not win, so they have to back away from Danny, especially with the incoming slow from the Lissandra passive. Meanwhile, both Whippo and Hansama flash further up the river to finish off Impact, but this further separates them from Bjergsen and Core JJ. Danny is now able to join the top side of this fight as Inspired uses Stopwatch to stay alive. Because of the space that Danny was able to make for himself, he gets the kill onto Hansama, while Bjergsen crucially is not in range for Chrono Shift. Danny then flashes to dodge Whippo's Q3 knockup and also build more distance from Bjergsen and Core JJ, turning this back into a more standard front-to-back teamfight. Bjergsen still has not used Chrono Shift in this fight, and by now he is too low on mana, so there will be no revive for Team Liquid. Inspired is in a stasis right next to the body of Hansama, so once his stasis ends, he is able to instantly possess the Lucian, allowing him to avoid the bubble from Core JJ. Bjergsen uses the last of his mana to speed up Whippo, and Whippo tries to use this bonus movement speed to finish off Inspired, but he gets melted by Danny as well as the high damage Lucian that Inspired has now possessed. Danny is then able to chase down Core JJ for EG's 4th kill of the fight. Bjergsen gets away, but EG take the teamfight win and the Baron buff. Instinct picked up a Pentakill in his first week as a starter in the LCS.
Takui does have package, so that's something working for them. If he can land a tremendous amount of poke, maybe they have a chance, but it's going to be all about Johnson.
They just got to go, I think. If they try and fight early, that's their best chance.
And they're going to look for Tukui, getting slowed up, going to package around, a lot of spot being taken, and Soul dropped. One so far, after going to burn the zone, he's packaged pretty well right now. Disengaged though, and a death onto the support, but he yoinks back, well done. That is the AD carry gun, Aldino flies in, Zonia's popped, and here we go. It's time for Instinct to go for broke.
No way.
Number 4, give it to him, you better not steal this. The kill comes through.
At 26 minutes into the game, TSM already has a 7k gold lead, and FlyQuest is forced to fight to prevent TSM from getting the Hextech Soul. The fight starts off well for FlyQuest as Philip's Glacial Prison halts the engage from Soul's Meganar. Sol then gets knocked back by the package, and he just ends up tossing Philip across the river with the Gnar ult before being the first to fall in this fight. Aphromoo makes an engage onto the TSM backline, but he gets knocked up by both Chime's Grand Entrance and Spica's 3 Talon Strike, and Chime uses Battle Dance to escape with low health. Aphromoo is forced to use Stopwatch and gets killed once his stasis ends. Now in a 4v4, FlyQuest has a big problem, which is that Maple on the front line is almost out-healing the damage FlyQuest is doing, and he still has his own stasis to ensure that he stays safe. Maple also lands Never Move on Johnson, which secures the kill against FlyQuest's primary carry. After Aphromu's engage is dealt with, the strong front line of Maple and Spica allows Instinct to fire away in complete safety, and he picks up the first 3 kills of the fight. Now that TSM has solid control of the fight, Chime rejoins with 300 HP left, popping the quickness, dashing to Instinct, and flashing forward, just barely getting around a big Corki rocket that would have killed him. Chime then uses Grand Entrance to jump through the wall and lock down Takuri as Instinct uses Spark Surge over the wall to finish off the 4th kill. At this point, all other TSM players scatter in different directions, leaving Instinct to claim his Pentakill. Thank you for watching Hyperanalyzing LCS. Hit subscribe and come back next week for my analysis of Week 5.